What's up, dudes and dudettes? So I really enjoy doing these real talk things. Like the first time, it was kind of just yelling about HVZ and really upset and frustrated, and it was kind of good to talk about it, but I didn't ever really kind of put it out there, and I didn't even think I would release that first one. And then eventually it was kind of time, and then this last one, it kind of made sense to return to the old school of YouTube and just start talking and stuff. So I've actually had some requests to kind of keep doing these. Like, I like them. I like doing podcast type stuff. And this is kind of the YouTube that feels good for me. I don't know, I got a lot to say, and it seems like people are kind of interested in hearing that. So if you have any ideas, like what you want me to talk about, like old video games, man, I got some stuff to talk about. More filmmaking stuff, kind of more my story. I'm not saying I'm going to keep this going forever, but maybe I'll do a few more of these and we'll just kind of do them one at a time. This one's kind of an important one, though. This is, I've kind of been hinting at it. If you follow me on Instagram or if you're a Facebook follower, you may have put two and two together that the Thunderdome, it got dismantled. I took it down. There was the struggle last summer of the city kind of deciding, well, the problem, what happened was we did NVZ. We applied for Nation vs. Zombies to come out here, and then 500 people showed up, and I worked for a month and a half, just busting ass, just working every single day, 8 to 12 hour days, and built this thing. And really the point of that was when I wanted the Thunderdome story and kind of the message of kind of what I want to leave on this earth. I wanted everyone who came from out of town, I wanted y'all to be a part of that, and I wanted you to come hang out and just kind of experience that community and stuff, and so I really put my full ass into it, and it was just something I didn't know why, but I just knew that it was really, really important, and I just had this vision to it, and it happened, and lots of people came. Hi, baby, I got my cat in here, and it was awesome, and it almost killed me. It almost killed me building the arena and getting it ready, and it was just I was kind of doing okay financially before that. But I invested the last of the Kickstarter money and all my, I just kept begging for money, and I was planning on selling some DVDs during Nation vs. Zombies, and I didn't make a point of it. I didn't even go to DarkCon because I had to keep planning for the Troll and Tony stuff. And through that, I didn't put myself out there to sell the DVDs, and that was kind of okay, it's okay to spend money on this because, maybe I'll get some of it back, and I think I sold 4 or 5 DVDs during that. And ever since that moment, I've just been really struggling financially. There's been a couple times where I've just had to bug my dad and just be so I have this bill, and it's kind of been that ever since. It used to be where I had my speaking engagements, and it enabled me to do all the other stuff, and I've got a rental property that was another big project that I put my full ass into. But it's just the reason why I tore the Thunderdome or Nerf Arena down is because I kind of, for the past 2 years, like I talked about in the last video with the YouTube videos, I've been trying to make it work. I made $200 one month, and I could kind of see the path to this being okay, and me being able to justify it. And then it was just this series of a year and a half of me trying to make it work and just putting my full ass into it. And it comes in cycles, because I don't think everyone's all go all the time, especially when there's not a whole lot of positive affirmation of that. So trying to pull the channel out of the gutter, and really it wasn't the channel, it was just the fact that YouTube was changing. My cat's gonna jump up here, just forgive me on that, she's really sweet. I just kept trying to fix it, and so why I'm at this point right now, it's not because I don't love this. It's dude, I love making Nerf videos, I love telling your stories and documentary filmmaking. It's because of all the times that I've made videos and all the times that I've done all these things, and then be oh well, I guess the world doesn't want that. And the more and more I'm just kind of looking at this YouTube thing, I don't really necessarily think it's the world that doesn't want it, just because YouTube's changing and it's harder for little guys to kind of take off. So all these baby projects and stuff, I've been filming HVZs and doing all this stuff and working towards this ultimate unknown, just hoping that Thunderdome would miraculously succeed and there would be money, and it's not because I want to make money. I live a very poor life, and that's not my focus. My focus has always been the story, but the more and more I do stuff like this, the more and more I'm reminded, hey baby, that if in a capitalist society, which we are, it doesn't matter how good your ideas are, and it doesn't matter how much they help people, and how that's my focus. It's just very much tell story, get it out there, and it's not focused enough on making money. And I think that's the problem. I wanted to give the whole movie away. I've struggled with that a lot, and That it bugs me. It bugs me that the point that I'm at right now is because I'm not focusing on making money. And if I don't do that, if I don't get money again, I don't know how that's going to be. I can't do this. I can't give back if I don't have enough to take care of me, you know? So it's been made the Thunderdome Arena, made the movie almost killed me, and it's always been kind of like working towards, if I can just do this, I'll give myself another 6 months, maybe I can get my channel to blow up and make these videos. And so like you'll see continual, like if you look back on my videos, you'll see what I thought my answer was at that time, or kind of what the current thing I needed to work towards, and it was finishing the movie. And then it was like, okay, I gotta send out, get the DVD made, and I gotta send it out to people, fulfill that Kickstarter awards. And then once I was free of that, I jumped immediately into Thunderdome 2.0, Nation vs. Zombie stuff. And once that was done, my hands were completely crushed. I had to have surgery for that. And then it was like the city being like, hey, by the way, so what I talked about in the beginning, it was successful enough where we had so many people here, and I feel like neighbors will tolerate anything for like a day, maybe two. But during that week, I opened it up like the Coliseum. Like I wanted it to be available as much as it possibly could, so people didn't feel like they all had to come over on Friday night or Saturday night. It was just like open every single day, 2 days before Nation vs. Zombies, and then even like a day afterwards, just so there'd be enough opportunities so people could come over. And my neighbors got sick of it. Like the ones that are directly surrounding me, Mary and her family, there's an interview on the channel about that. They're great. And I got 3 deaf guys on this side, which that is like the best. You can't buy that. They're super cool about it. And where I was having problems with is somebody called the cops continually 4 houses down. And the noise wasn't bothering them. It was the fact that there was cars all up and down the street and stuff. And it doesn't matter how cool people were being about it. And they were, like, we were being friendly. Just after 4 days of a dude getting his parking spot taken, like, and he decided to just keep calling the cops. And then eventually the cops they showed up. Hi, baby. Come here. They showed up and they walked around back, and he was like, oh, are you the owner and stuff? And I talked with them, and I kind of explained, I was like, this is a really special thing. And this is like, there's people from Canada who drove down for this. It's really showcasing our city, and it's something special. It's nothing bad. We're not even being that loud. We were keeping the volume down. But during the day at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't have to worry about sound. People are using power tools and stuff. And I invite, like, everyone that comes over, every cop that stopped by, I invite them back there. I kind of show them what's going on, explain it. And for the first time, it really wasn't just college students kind of being weird. It was like there was whole families there. And it was like the first time I really felt like I was allowed to make content for families, and just like how much the parents appreciated and the kids loved it. And from that point on, I said that, Thunderdome has no age restrictions. It's not this weird college thing that my darknesses just can't be exposed. It's just for everybody, you know? And the cop, like, immediately, like, I kind of, I explained it all to him, and he's just like, okay, I got it. Like, it's very clear what's happening here. You guys are being really cool about it. You're even, like, working on sound levels and stuff. And it's clear that the neighbor's just being a bitch, just being a pissy neighbor, and they just wants, like. And so, like, the cop was cool. I thanked him for coming out, like, shook his hand and everything. And he said, I've just got to take some information down. And he wrote it down on a piece of paper, and he said, I just have to file this just to, like, because, their needs are valid too, the neighbors, and I completely agree with that, so I try and work with them. But I just need to write this down, and whatever, like, just so he did something, and I ended up actually giving him a copy of the movie too, and it wasn't like, hey, if this is a bribe, it's a shitty bribe. Really, it's just me as the person speaking to you right now. I'm just like, this is what's going on, because it tells my entire story. It tells Springfield Nerf's entire story, and I really feel like it tells the Nerf community's story, And he took the DVD. He was cool about it, So like it was. I thought everything was good. I was like, I really tried to kind of hone people in with the parking and stuff, but then like a week later, I got a notice in my front lawn and in my mail that said, you were in violation of city ordinances, and we clearly were, because, there's no ordinances for building a Nerf arena in your backyard. I'm sure someone's done something smaller than this before, but like this is the first time it's a paradigm. It's an idea of just saying that you can, that it's valuable to just make a community in your backyard, and it's better to be running around and chasing each other than being online, and so the violations were like, the fence was higher than 6 feet with unlike materials, and that was at a point where I was almost dead. Like really, like you'll see in that Nation vs. Zombies, like the real talk, the first one, Like, that was me almost dead. That was a caffeinated corpse that was stressed out well beyond my breaking point. And I got done. I fulfilled my sweetheart. I fulfilled my obligations with Troll and Tony and everything. And all that, like, the money situation, I was just still like, oh shit, I spent all my money on this. What am I gonna do? And I just laid in bed for 3 days, and I was just honestly thinking about killing myself, you know. And then I got so I'm in bed for 3 days, like I'm just sleeping nonstop, and just like I couldn't get out of bed and face it. Like my hands were just I couldn't even open my doorknobs or open food. And then I got the notices, and it was just like I immediately responded with I can't do this anymore. Like this is the end for me, you know. And that's when someone started a Facebook group called Save Thunderdome, and it ended up being like 500 people. Basically, it was just people going like against the city and trying to mobilize and really try and help, and just saying like this is valuable. This is like basically just kind of saying we're there. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, and in the end, like really, it was just like a city kind of thing, and they didn't really understand what was going on. They were doing their job, and I really like the Save Thunderdome petition. Like it's there. There's all these comments of over like maybe 500,000 people like of saying like Save Thunderdome. Really, they weren't even petitioning the city at that point because we never had to deliver it. It was you petitioned me to get out of bed, and that it was worth it. And just like that feeling of being completely alone, being completely out of money, just like I don't know how I'm gonna make this work with the amount of funds I got left. Like I had to sell DVDs, and it's just like I didn't, you know, and so. You guys Save Thunderdome because you showed me the path again. Even though my hands were screwed, everything was like I was out of money. Like I made it work, and I went through. I contacted the city, and I went through everything on that list, and I fixed it to the best of my ability. Like I invited him over, and he looked at everything, and he was really cool about it too. He was even just like the cops are. They came over, and he's like, man, my son would love this. This is really neat what you did here. And so he wasn't like, it wasn't this tyrannical government. It was just like a dude making sure we weren't being too unsafe and like trying to work with me, you know? And so the big thing was the car. You know, we had that Taurus Warthog thing. And that was a little bit on the sketchy side. And I agreed, like, okay, the car's gone. Like, I get that. You shouldn't have cars in your backyard that are turned into whatever. But we fixed the fences, and we worked within the rules as best possible, you know? And it saved it, you know? And then it was like next 2 months I just kind of focused on relaxing, and then you'll see on my Facebook channel there's like I have to my sweetheart, there has to be something for me to work towards and a goal, and I decided to just start streaming my old video games, and I just live streamed on Facebook, and there's a couple of them uploaded on the channel, and really it was like that felt like productive. It was enough. Like my goal needed to be to just rest my hands so they would work again, and then get my surgery in September, and I couldn't see the path. I didn't know what was going to happen, you know. But I figured we made enough of an indent with Nation vs. Zombies and the world kind of paying attention to it, where things would be easier now, you know. And got my surgery. I was out of commission for a good month. Rested up, healed, and then you know, I went and filmed a couple of Humans vs. Zombies and stuff. And at that point, like, it was really like, dude, for the past like year and a half, I've been giving myself 6 months to like fix it or we got to quit. Like, it's just like, this is not working. We're just bleeding ourselves dry. Like there's no money. And I kept saying 6 more months. If it's not fixed in 6 more months, if it's not fixed by the end of the year, we got to give up. And like I can't go back to working working for the crumbs of capitalists. You know, like I worked for a company, and I went around to big chains where they build things, and there's 2 big ones, and I was a rep for that. You know. And it wasn't a bad job. It was fulfilling in some regards, but really for me, it was kind of throwing my life away, you know. And when I left there, it was I absolutely decided that I would rather be dead than do that again, than just like trade the days that I have left on this earth. If every day that I have left on this earth is special, then I shouldn't be wasting them, you know. And so I'm trying to do what I love, which is making movies and talking, you know. And so it was, I did a couple of Thunderdomes in the fall after my hands healed up and stuff, but I wasn't really playing a whole lot. I just kind of did it for people. And then the spring rolled around, and man, it's just like, I feel like it's, the Thunderdome story for me ended during Nation vs. Zombies. Like that was the ultimate climax of the story for me. Like I built this thing in my backyard, I invited a bunch of people, and then I met the Missouri State Nerf groups, and then I decided to tell my story and share it with the world. And then like, so other people could do it and do this. Since there's been like, dude, there's like 10 to 15 other Thunderdomes. Like Thunderdome Nova Scotia was the first one. Jack, I love you, buddy. And then there's just been other ones like popping up. Like there's one in Minnesota, and then there's one in Malta. Like really, it's I don't really talk about it a whole lot. You'll see it in the movie. If you're a film guy, like there's no doubt you've picked up on the fact that Fight Club is a huge deal for me. Like it was, watched the movie, loved the movie, but it didn't really impact me. But when I read the book, like it just, hi sweetie, it just changed me. And it really like, if you're looking for something to read, go read Fight Club and like just take your time with it. Because it's really like, I see Thunderdome as the next chapter of Fight Club. It's Fight Club, there's these undertones of everything sucks and it's pointless, so fuck it. And for me, it was everything's pointless and things are really, really dark in this world. But the only thing that I've found that really holds up in terms of things that matter is love and is the people around you. And so getting everyone together and chasing each other around, it's the same thing at Fight Club. There's just something that makes you come alive from that, except it's a positive thing. It's celebrating rather than just like destroying, you know? And I've told that story. It's out there. It's I mean, I've accomplished it. Like the fact that there's this many Thunderdomes out there, like I feel like the idea is reality now. And you know, I've got all these videos that kind of tell the story, and the DVD or the Thunderdome movie it's out there. Like I've told that story, and I think that I am no longer needed in it. It doesn't make me happy anymore. It's not that Nerf doesn't make me happy. It's not that making Nerf videos doesn't make me happy. It's the fact that if I can't make money doing it, being financially insecure is stressing me the fuck out. You see this little girl right here? Like she just, I don't know if you can see her on this. Like this is Furby. And I was really doing so bad in the fall. And I was doing okay. I was just kind of like still kind of grinding it out, like trying to fix it, trying to make videos that the internet would love and try and make it work again. And then this little girl, she walked up on my back porch and just started meowing at me. And like I was at the point then where I was like, you know, I couldn't have a cat, I couldn't have a dog because I thought I was too emotionally kind of undependable and just like, I don't know that I'm going to be able, and this is kind of part of the reason of just like, I don't know if I could work a 9-to-5 job because man, every day is a struggle to get out of bed for me. Like it really is. Like if I forcing myself to sleep makes me more or less likely to fall asleep. And so I wouldn't let myself have a cat or a dog, just like didn't really want to do the kid thing because I didn't think it was fair to them. And so I let her kind of come inside. I hung out with her a little bit. We watched a movie. I think we watched Three Kings. And then I put her outside and I, you know, basically just to give her a chance to go back to her home. And I woke up the next morning, she was still there and hanging out in my shed. I think I gave her a blanket and a little bit of food in the shed. I'm like, okay, well, you're still here. That's kind of cool. So I left, I did my stuff, went out and hung out with somebody, came back and she was still there. And then by the end of that day, man, she sold me. Like it's the best little people. Like she changed my life. And so like, even though I'm kind of allergic to cats, like, I said, it doesn't matter, even if I'm puffy and just like my eyes are itchy, this little kid's worth it. And I opened my doors and she hasn't left since. And really she has been with me. And most of the time, like I'm just kind of like, I spend a lot of time in my house because really since the Nation vs. Zombies, I haven't had money to go really out on dates. I haven't really had money to go do stuff. It's really just been, I've been drowning. And trying to look for that finishing thing, finish the movie, get it in film festivals, set up my stuff with my agent so I can, like I'm a professional speaker. I love it. It's great. There's actual money in it. And it enables me to do stuff like this where I can give back. And the times are, I have to work less times, but when I do, I really focus on it, you know, and so that really works for me. So I was focused on getting my stuff ready for my agents, and this little girl has made me, of all the times that I felt like I didn't want to be alive, where I was just like, fuck it, you know, like it doesn't matter if I'm here or not, you know, like I want to be here for her, you know, and now I'm at a point where it's absolutely just like, I don't want my life to focus on making money, but if I don't have money, I can't buy cat food, and I want the best life for Furby that I can give her, you know, and she saved my life again, you know, absolutely. And I feel like we're kind of each other's angels, because I let her inside and fixed her little medical issues, and now we're bros, and it's great. But it's changed me a little bit, you know. And so this spring, I kind of just, you know, I've been waiting for the agent thing, like waiting for the Thunderdome tour to pick up. Like, it's really hard for me without being able to get new people to watch my videos, because the algorithms on YouTube are just like, unless you're making consistent videos all the time, and it's one of the ones they picked, it's just, man, there's not a whole lot of new comments. There's not a whole lot of, like, I just, like, I don't know how else to get my stuff out there. I really don't. It's good, and I just don't know. I'm at a point where I can't do any better than this. You know, like, I'm not a production company. I'm one dude who who makes documentaries, and sometimes the ones that take a while, you know, that might take me like a week to get it all done and ready and to go film it and stuff, and I can't just churn out a video every 2-3 days. And when I do, I feel like there's a backlash, you know, like of the viewers who don't really want to see me talking or don't really want to see the random stuff. Like, they're here for a specific reason, so I'm either punished by YouTube, or there's kind of that silent and ultimately there's just, man, about a month ago, I think it was March 20th, I kind of hit that point where I was just like, you know, the bills kind of, I'm just like, I'm drowning. And I hit that point where I was just like, I don't know where I'm going to go from here. Like, I really hadn't felt like, I just kind of felt let down. It was all the things that I've been working towards. Like, I got my agent stuff done, and it's just really hard to get the Thunderdome tour going. And then even just like, you know, stuff like my buddy Drac, like, it's no secret that me and Drac are close, and the Thunderdome tour is going to be me and him going around talking, and really, there's so much we could talk about, you know, YouTube videos and just the Thunderdome story itself, and really like try and spread HVZ and Nerf. And man, like, it's just hard to get him. It's hard to get started. And I really, like, there was kind of just this moment of like, this is it. It's I couldn't give myself another 6 more months, because it's just like, it wasn't making me happy anymore. I loved making YouTube videos in the past, because they were like, it was that's what I like. I absolutely love it. It's just, I feel like my passion's been stolen by the fact that I'm not making money off of it, because that's the measure of success in our world, and I hate that, you know. So I kind of just decided, like, I cried. I cried for probably like 10 minutes. I just sat on my couch by myself at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, that reality finally, like, all my bills kind of caught up to me, and all this just like, yeah, I can fix it if I just, I was unable to see the path anymore. There's no fixing it. There was no silver bullet of just like, I could not see the path with it, and I didn't know where to go. And at that point, I had that hard conversation with myself where I finally allowed myself to imagine a world without Thunderdome. And man, it was really hard, because I was willing to cut out a lot of things in my life, and I've made so many sacrifices for all of this, because I feel like this is all a just cause, and I feel like it's what I'm meant to be doing with my life. But I didn't know when Thunderdome would end, and I hit that point of, I think, as I struggle in my life, and I think if you're familiar, if you have a lot of PTSD issues or just mental illness, like, I don't feel like you're ever fixed from it, because I think people are just kind of like broken by definition. Like, it's a complex struggle, you know. So there's not really a moment of we're working towards fixing it. But I feel like every time we go through one of these things where we're thinking about killing ourselves, and the sun shines again the next day, a week, a month from then, if you make it through it, you find better ways to deal with it. And I'm very in tune with my stuff and with my mental workings and everything. And so I've definitely developed better ways to deal with it ever since I've been dealing with depression as like a 14-year-old. Like, I developed ways of, okay, like, you need to be more active in the winter because you're just going to be more reclusive. Or sometimes sleeping more is better, sometimes sleeping less is better. Or just like when you're feeling like you don't want to talk to anybody, that's when you need to go hang out with people. And when I went into the hospital, I was there for, I don't know how much I've really talked about this. I know I've talked about it online because I typed my thing up, but maybe I'll talk about that real quick, since we're having this conversation. If you're watching this, then you're one of, like, I don't know, the 500 people that like want to hear about this and want to hear more of my story while I can, like, that I can't tell with a 3-minute video or even just with the feature film. Like, when Adam died, I was so mentally unstable and just feeling like everything came second to the movie. Like I was in a relationship for a good long time before that. It was crumbling out because I didn't have enough time for her. Cameron was like, man, he left town in the summer. Like he moved up to do his master's and stuff, and like we were in this big fight over details. It doesn't even matter what the fight was about. It was the fact that we were both stressed out, and I didn't have the energy to even deal with it. And so when we fought, like it wasn't like, okay, well, let's really talk about this, because I couldn't, and he was already leaving, and I couldn't handle fixing it with Cameron and then having him leave 3 days later. So I just didn't deal with it because I couldn't. You know, it was just going to break my heart so damn much. And then I don't know how else to say it. It was an awful, awful fucking time for me. And throughout all of that, I'm just like, I'm working on these videos. I'm trying to get the movie done and trying to like make money at the same time, and none of it's working. And I haven't really been as open. Like I think it's easy to just be like, oh, there's instabilities with Rob and something's going on, but I haven't really talked about how much the money situation is just absolutely kicking my ass. And every day it's a struggle to get out of bed and do something, accomplish something, to just get something done. And if I do that, that's great. And my best days are when I apply that in the direction where I feel like it's going to be beneficial in the future, where it was going to fix Thunderdome, where it was going to finish it. And then it just doesn't, I don't see the path anymore. I really don't. I don't know. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up on Thunderdome, but so I was emotionally screwed. And then there was just something happened. Like, I won't say there was another thing with a very, very close friend where we weren't friends anymore. And they didn't cause it. I caused it because I let myself get this bad. I let myself be so stretched thin with placing just realistic, impossible demands on myself, and I thrive under that, and it helps me cope with my fear of death by making the best every single day and trying to squeeze as much juice out of this Rob lemon as I can. But at a certain point, you got to start taking care of yourself, and I never hit that point. It was always like, I got to get the movie done. And so Adam died, and then I lost that friend, and I was just physically unable to deal with a life change of that magnitude. My buddies were my support structure, and I just didn't have any options left. And at that point, I was just absolutely deciding on killing myself. I always knew that if I killed myself, it wouldn't be while I was crying. It would be because I chose it, because it's that level of on the tip of my tongue all the time, just fear of my existence, And so I decided to kill myself, I started. What I thought about was just like, I got so much crap here, so much Nerf stuff, so much stuff, and the process for me was cleaning my house and getting rid of the things that I knew that whoever sorted through my estate, which would be my family or my close friends, I wanted to make it easier for them so they didn't have to deal with that. And so I donated a lot of stuff. I cleaned the house, and I filed stuff that was important or stuff that was worth money, and I was really sad that this was it, and I was finally going to have to give up. But I just didn't have an option. I didn't see the path. I was just like, I just don't know if I can come back from this, And it got to a point where I didn't know how to handle it. And I was afraid to go to the doctor. I was afraid to tell myself. I think that a lot of people who've been suicidal or very depressed, like, you get that. You get, like, you've heard stories of if you go to the doctor and say, I'm suicidal, you'll get thrown into a room, and and it's just like, they would be really, really just, they're gonna kidnap you, like, they're just like, okay, this person is incapable of handling this, and we have to protect him from himself. So guess what? You get to be in the hospital now, and that's always really scary. And it's not. You feel like the hospital isn't an option because you're afraid of what might happen, And so even though, like, I've danced around the issue with my doctors for a long time, it just being like, I'm really depressed, and things are not going good, and XYZ, and I've been in a plane crash, and so they kind of get that, with my anxiety. I would never say I'm thinking about killing myself. I'm suicidal. So I was planning on killing myself, and then I was like, okay, I got to try and go to the doctor. I got to go. And so I just went to my normal doctor, and the same thing. I was afraid to say I'm suicidal, and I told him I'm doing bad, and there was this issue, like I lost a friend, and I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this. Are you suicidal? Well, I don't. I mean, my past is kind of complicated, and like I'm always kind of, and he basically kind of leveled with me. He's like, so you're hesitant, but what I want you to do is if you get to the point where you are suicidal, for me, he spoke to me as a person, not as my doctor, promise me that you'll go to the ER. And I was like, okay, well, if I did do something like that, what would happen? They're like, well, they would admit you and they have a stabilization thing. And it was still real scary. So I left there with a bottle of pills that wasn't going to help because I mean, like I've been dealing with anxiety medications, and it wasn't like that. I either need to be active and moving, or I need to be knocked on my ass so much that my brain function goes down. It's that level of whirlwind in my brain. And I left there and I just started crying, and I was afraid to talk to anybody about it. But called my dad. And I told him everything that was going on, and I can't remember. There's one specific thing. I think it was when I decided to go to the doctor. It was before I went to the first doctor. My sister sent me a text, and she knew I was doing bad. She knew that the friend situation was happening, and she sent me a text, and she knew me real well. She knew not to push too hard, but she just said, if you're ever suicidal, call me or her husband, and if you're about to kill yourself, just think about your nieces crying forever because Uncle Rob's not there anymore. And man, I didn't give a shit about me. I didn't. It hurt bad enough where I didn't want to be here anymore, and I couldn't see the path. But really, for my nieces, that was the thing that I needed to be reminded of in that moment. So I went to the doctor, and so I'll try and kind of truncate this a little bit. But talked to my dad. And I told him about the ER thing, and I'm like, I still don't know, and I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I'll just go try these pills and just try and work through it. But I just couldn't do it on my own. There was enough issues with me, and then I was too fucked. And I got home and I just started crying. I was just like, I didn't feel any better than before I was in the at my doctor. And so I called my buddy who had been in a short-term stay thing. He had been suicidal before, and he checked out he was going for 3 days and stuff, and he's talked about it. And I just asked, what's that like? Do you think this will be good for me? And he said, yeah. I mean, especially you with, I take a lot of meds, just to handle all my stuff and make sense of it. And he's like, absolutely, man. I think you should go. And I asked him if he'd come with me, and he would. So he showed up and helped me pack a bag, and kind of was just like that friend that I needed to go to the doctor with. And I walked in through the door of the ER, walked up the desk, and I said, I'm suicidal and I need help. And it wasn't like, oh, bum rush, grab the guy. It was, okay, well, let's take your insurance information so, we can make sure you can pay for all this. And since I had it because of the Affordable Care Act, they admitted me, and I spent about 4 hours in the back of the ER. They did an assessment of me, had me change my clothes and stuff. But immediately they realized that, if you're checking yourself in, you're at a different point than if you tried to jump off a bridge, or you got really mad, or you just started flailing because you're scared and you don't know how to do it. You don't know what to do. But they immediately realized that this dude's really chill. He's in a really bad place. So they put me in a room and just kind of talked to me a little bit, and it was really chill. And it was just the whirlwind of activity and just drowning for the past 2 years, and just there's not time to fix Rob because I got a movie to finish. I got a Kickstarter to fulfill. I got to find a way to tell this story and make it all work. And that was the first time that I just been trapped in a room to just chill and just think and just relax. And later that night, they kind of realized that I wasn't a danger to anyone else, and it was just that I was rational about my decisions. Baby, I love you. I went to a place called the Marion Center in Springfield, Missouri. Okay, I'm gonna put you down if you're gonna be bitey. No. Okay. So it's the Marion Center is a short-term care facility, and it's really it's focused on stabilization. They've got 2 wings to it. One is for the people who are kind of like me, just pretty chill and safe around people, and the other one's for maybe the people who came there under duress or just needed a little bit, needed to be stared at all the time. And what happened was I spent 5 days there, and I ate food at meal times, and I was just surrounded by this group of people that I was, you see the movies and stuff like psych ward kind of, you're scared of it. It's like a jail, but really what it was is, dude, it was a bunch of people in different circumstances with different amount of pain. They were broken, and that we couldn't do it on our own anymore. And I slept, I woke up, and there was counseling. Hi, sweetie. And it was just like, really, like, the best thing for me was stabilizing my meds and kind of like balancing it out. He added a new one, and I met a psychiatrist through that who I retained afterwards, and it's been great, But as much as the medical stuff was great, and on the meds end of it, and just like the care, I think the benefit of that situation was just being surrounded by people who just being reminded that you're not the only one struggling with this shit. There was every age of people there, from 18 all the way up to about like 85, different stories, and it was all just focused on, like, centered around the fact that this world sucks sometimes, and it's really hard, and you lose people, and it's just, and being around those people and just talking. I mean, like, they turned my life around just as much as the meds did, And that was it was a new outlook on life. It was the first time that it was okay to focus on Rob and take care of Rob. Like, this is the time to fix Rob, and there's no distractions. And it was great. And so, if you're ever at that point where you're thinking about killing yourself, like I talk about it, I've talked about it before, like, don't let it get to that point. Like, do this before. Go talk to a psychiatrist and go to your primary care doctor first and kind of express your problems, and then, like, they'll try and get a referral. But primary care doctors can't do everything. They can give you like SSRIs, and if you need someone on a regular basis as a counselor, then don't let it get to that point. Don't let it get to the point where you got a gun in your hand, or go to the hospital. Just walk, like, take the person you love the most and just tell them what's going on, and then just go to the hospital together and just say what I say. Just, I'm suicidal and I need help. And it's going to be okay. They didn't even, like, admit, like, I don't know, I can't remember the word. I wasn't mandated to be there. I wasn't being forced. I could have left at any time. And at one point in time, I was like, okay, I think I'm all right. And they're like, I hear what you're saying, but we want you to wait until tomorrow. We want you to wait until your psychiatrist is here. We have a way that we kind of release you and stuff. We want you to wait another day. And I waited another day. But even just that kind of that idea of sometimes we need other people to just shake us and say, stop doing something that's bad for you. And I was doing a lot of what was bad for me in terms of self-care, Left there, finished the movie, Thunderdome 2.0, NVZ. Got to get this tour worked out so I can actually make some money so I can feed my cat. You're caught up. Thunderdome hasn't been fun for me for a long time. It's been me trying to tell the story and making sure that people who need to hear about it have that, And then it was neutral for a while, where I was, like, really stressed out. And then it was getting to the point where it was really negative for me. Because it wasn't, there was, man, like, honestly, like, after Cameron left, when I'm walking around in my backyard, like, all the videos you see of us building stuff, like the cover and stuff like that, my backyard was kind of like a graveyard of all the people that I loved and were gone, and people move away. That's part of life. I've dealt with that ever since college, and I get it. I'm real proud of Cameron and all the people who left, and just they're doing great things with their lives. And I'm just like Adam, and how I kind of came to peace with that is, I'm happy to have had people in my life for the amount of time that I did, and when they're gone, they're gone. But it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, And there was, everything had Cameron's face on it. And it's just like, once it hit that point, it was just like, it wasn't the same without him. Same thing with Thunder Ranch. Like, I can't just go build crap out of Thunder Ranch, because every time I'm out there, I think about Cameron, And then when I had this, so you caught up. March 20th, all that boiled down, and, for the first time, I didn't have another 6 months. I didn't see how the movie thing was going to work. Like the tour, I didn't know how I could possibly do anything more. YouTube wasn't getting turned around. And I cried, and I just accepted that. And I finally said, and that's okay. I kind of, and then I was just like, okay, well, what? I forgot this part. I released the first cut of Thunderdome, and it was literally just the interviews and all the stuff. It's available on the channel, and I watched that. I sat down and I watched it, and I saw a person that I didn't recognize anymore. I saw a person that was excited about life and doing stuff and inviting his friends over and just excited about telling the movie. And that first cut is like, that's the only pure cut of the movie, in my opinion, because it was like, that's what I wanted the movie to be, and you can kind of see that, you know? And after that, I bought the rental property, and I spent 6 months, must get this fixed up so I can get a little bit of income coming from that. And ever since after that first cut, there hasn't been a stress-free cut of Thunderdome where it was not motivated by complete fear and just feeling like I had to finish it, you know? So I tried to figure out what's different now and why were you happy then and why you're not happy now. And it was because I was choosing all of that. I was choosing, it was like I need the freedom to evolve, like I talk about in the movie, and become whatever I want and just become a better person. And sometimes just be a new me just for the hell of it, you know? And I felt like I had to keep doing this, you know? I felt like I had to be Thunderdome Rob because, all right, you're biting me again. I felt like I just had to keep doing it, and I didn't know why. I was working towards an end, which was maybe there'll be food again. So, yeah, I gave it was the choice. I didn't feel like I had a choice anymore. I felt like I had to keep doing this, and there was no way to make money, and I couldn't fix it. And 20 minutes in, I stopped crying because I worked through the entire thing, and I decided Nerf doesn't have to be a part of your life anymore. This movie doesn't have this. You don't have to be this anymore. You can be whatever you want. And on my back wall leading out to Thunderdome, there's a painting. It says, "You're wasting your life with broken Nerf guns all around it." There's a video of that too. And I went up to that mural before I did the stuff that came next, and I took all the letters and the words down, and all the Nerf guns down, and I took down everything except the two words "you are." And now it just says that. It's a blank rainbow wall that just says "you are," and that's pretty much the thesis of where I'm at right now. I'm giving myself the option to be whatever I want again. And I knew that I do have a love for Nerf and stuff, but there's a lot of pain here with all this frustration of trying to get stuff going. And I knew that I wanted to give myself a chance to kind of come back. So I took all the Nerf guns out of the house. I put them in the shed. And through doing that, it wasn't like before where I was getting ready to clearing my house out for the people who were going to clean up after I kill myself. I was setting myself free. And in that process, I was trying to do it in a healthy manner. So the stuff that was really special to me, or stuff that was worth money, you know, I was very careful with it. And I set it places. And the rest of it kind of got thrown into bags and bins and stuff. And I decided that Nerf isn't allowed in my house until I ask it to be back in again. But through that process, I kept all the special stuff. You know, I kept my 2 drag blasters and the stuff Cameron made for me, and the stuff that people came in and made that fans gave me because they were inspired by some of my weird stuff, you know. And everything that came from a person, I kept it for that person so I could remember that person. Everything that was just Nerf is still in the shed. And I didn't really talk about it too much. And I told Sammy... Sammy wasn't living with me at that point. I told Sammy, hey, you're going to notice that all the Nerf guns are gone. Took down all the boxes. There's nothing Nerf in my house anymore except for those special things. And I told Sammy that it's going to be really weird. And I know because of my past you're going to be worried, but I need you to trust me on this. I need you to trust me that I'm working through this, and it's a positive thing even though it's not. People aren't going to understand it. And Sammy's the only one I really explained it to. And for the first time I felt like Sammy was the only one I needed to explain it to. I didn't feel... Because it wasn't about everybody else finally. It was about setting myself free. And so I did that, and then I was envisioning a world where I'm not Thunderdome Rob, where there isn't Nerf in my life, where I'm not going to just film these HVZs and I working towards that goal in the future. And I gave myself the option to just choose again. Filmed two HVZs since then, but I did it because I wanted to. You know, my buddy Jack from Thunderdome, Nova Scotia, he's going to come down for a month this summer, and we were going to probably film Nerf videos. Still can, even though the Nerf Arena is not there anymore. Can be whatever we want. But I was trying to hold off until Jack came down because I wanted it to be here for him when he came down. So I was like, okay, and I was kind of planning on wrapping up the channel. That was my decision. It was like, Nerf outside, you can't come back in unless I invite you in. And planning on sunsetting the channel, like kind of what I'm doing right now, like ending the Thunderdome story, ending this kind of like documentation of this struggle that I've been going through, and it's all been real. I haven't lied about a single damn thing. And it's really just like through sharing my pain, I was just hoping it would help somebody, you know, like, and I know it has, objectively. I've gotten messages, I've talked with people. This has been a success. And the problem is the paradigm of success in the Thunderdome world is helping people who are thinking about killing themselves, making people who might not know why they're living, maybe find a reason to live. That doesn't make money in terms of getting millions of views. Nerf, children's toys, talking about suicide, talking about mental illness, doesn't work. It'll never work for Nerf. They haven't ever talked to him about it. There's no way they could support that. And I don't think it's something that really sells. And we're getting to a point with YouTube, like I talked about in the last video. Unless you're getting millions of views, you're done. You're not going to do it. I felt like since I finished the movie, I felt like I haven't really had the support from the Springfield Nerf community that I used to have. And I feel like I spent a few years, like, and I'm not saying this for drama, like, I've glad everything kind of calmed down a little bit. But for, like, in the beginning, it was like I was inviting people, and I met them, and it was like I was still kind of 29, and it wasn't like the old guy. I mean, I was the old guy, but you can still kind of hang with the 20-year-olds when you're 29, and then 31, and then every year it gets a little bit harder, you know? And then there was 2 years where I just spent in my room by myself, this exact room, this room that's covered in the darkest art in my house, where I'm allowed to do whatever I want. And I lost a lot of my friends. The good ones still were there. But through that, I lost the momentum of the Thunderdome kind of community building. And where I got a lot of community people before was at HVZs. You know, like we'd go do an HVZ and I'd invite people over afterwards and it would be great. And not everyone's going to come back, but you know, like 10 people did, 20 people, and then they'd bring their friends. And while I was in my room for 2 years, I turned into a 34-year-old dude who's just kind of at that age where, man, I'm a charming motherfucker, but like I can't sell myself to 20-year-olds anymore. I don't feel like I need to. It's hard for me to just recruit. Honestly, like people past about the age of 25 or 30, like they might come one time, but it's so hard on your body, and I don't really fit in the older world. I don't like, I'm an adult on paper. I have assets. I have houses. But I'm crazy and I don't sleep, and I'm trying to milk everything I can out of life. So I don't work with older people. And now I'm at that point where I fit better with the 20-year-olds. Like they can keep up with me, but I'm at that point where new people, like, I don't know, without the support of the Springfield Nerf community, here's why Thunderdome's ending. The short version, like, of all this is, Thunderdome's not special in Springfield anymore. Thunderdome was awesome in the beginning, and it was like the first of its kind, and like the people in Springfield who were already playing Nerf, it was awesome, and they came over, and we made a movie about that, and you can see it on this channel. But even that, like, by the time I got done with the movie, like, even, like, the people who were in the movie, like, they were sick of coming over. And it was always like, oh, it'll be there next time. And so it's been a series of people getting excited about Thunderdome and then, like, kind of not getting excited about it. And without those kind of, like, recurring, like, vet people, and then I can't get 20-year-olds over here on my own. I can't do it alone. And then, so it's just, like, the reasons, so HVZ was my recruiting stuff. We'd have parties afterwards, and then for the past year, there's been this thing called like Dark Zone, where after the missions, like we play until 8 o'clock at night for the missions and stuff, and then there's a break, and then at 11 o'clock at night, you get simulated night play again. And that's been happening like every night of HVZ, and it really hasn't left a whole lot of room for parties, you know? hasn't left a whole lot of room for Thunderdomes afterwards, because like people get done with the mission at 6 and they're like, oh, I got to come back up on campus at 11 o'clock at night, so I'm just not going to go to Thunderdome. And so I felt like I've had to just kind of like force my foot in there and be like, what about Thunderdome? What? And kind of begging, almost like feeling like I was being a burden on it. And I think it's just, in Springfield, we've just forgotten how special it is, and myself included. I'm jaded by this YouTube crushing me shit, making hundreds of things that I was really proud of, and then just having them, you know. And I feel like, man, I filmed an HVZ at Missouri State in the spring, few weeks ago. Like, it was when I did this final push and just kind of ended this, you know. And man, I made a movie about Missouri State Nerf and HVZ, and the new people I was meeting, no one really knew about it. And new people had no idea who the fuck I was and why I was filming it. And I'm at a point where I don't feel like I need to justify myself, and I don't feel like I'm not capable of selling this shit anymore. I'm not capable of being like, hey, I'm Thunderdome Rob, and here's my stuff, and you should come over to my backyard and we'll have a great time, because I'm not passionate about it, because I've been crushed by all this, and because it's been so painful for so long. So I'm not excited about it. I'm doing it because I think it's a just cause, which is why I've stayed the course for this long. So, but without me kind of being like the crazy, larger than life, and inviting people over and being really excited about it, and then no time for just kind of casual interactions during HVZ, I can't sell this anymore. And I think that's the YouTube channel, and that's the documentary. Like, I've kind of done my part by making this damn thing. I've got something where you guys can show your friends Thunderdome and be like, it encompasses the whole Nerf story. And I'm at a point where I don't have the heart to sell it anymore, and it's killing me. You know, and without that, it's dead. And I realized after this last HVZ at Missouri State that Thunderdome was already dead. It died for me after I collapsed in my bed and succeeded at Nation vs. Zombies and told the story to everyone. That was always my goal, tell this story. And it's been on life support ever since. And so what was supposed to be the final mission of Missouri State HVZ, I just didn't go to it. Because I felt like their game was pretty much wrapped up. The Dark Zone was kind of, extracurricular activities were bleeding the amount of players, and really it hit them Saturday night where humans couldn't even do the mission because there was 10 people. And I, just like every other player who shows up to a mission and then they're like, oh, fuck it, we won't play it, there's a chance that they won't come back. And for the first time in years, I decided to not come back to a game that was already over, that I knew that there wasn't enough humans to complete the last mission. And so I spent that day taking down the first pieces of cover. And first ones I kind of took down were just like the busted ones, the ones that we were not going to repair and just kind of let them fall apart. And I took those apart, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll leave the other ones. And then I took another one down, and another one down, and another one down. And there was kind of a little drama with Missouri State with me not going to that last mission. It wasn't because of that. It was, I kind of announced it was Dark Zone was going to be on Saturday night, and there wasn't going to be any humans really go to it. And I kind of hit this moment of like, shit, if walking around with no humans left, if it was a dead mission, there wasn't going to be any reason for that to happen. If that's more important than Thunderdome, then fuck it, you know? And so I basically just said, all right, I posted on Facebook, if Thunderdome is special to you and you want Thunderdome to exist in this world, show up tonight. Don't go to Zombie Relay for Life, which is basically what it is sometimes. First couple days it's great. I'm not ragging on you guys, Missouri State. It's great for the building time, but when there's not enough humans, you're spreading butter over not enough butter over too much bread, and you're killing yourself on that. Details. And I basically, I played my hand out in the open, and I just said, if Thunder is important to you, show up. And it kind of split the community almost, where people were pissed that I was presenting, oh, why are you trying to divide? Because there hasn't been room for Thunderdome. And every time that this has happened, where there was a mod meeting scheduled, or there was just too much HVZ and not enough room left for people to hang out, Thunderdome has suffered from that. And So everyone thought I was being aggressive, but I was really, what I wasn't saying was, tonight is the last Thunderdome. And if you want to experience the last Thunderdome, come over. And we did it. It was like 10 people, 10 to 12 people, and we played without the music on, and I smoked a cigarette while I played a game for Dugan, who used to do that. Dugan's another guy that's died. And it was the end that I wanted. It ended years of struggle with the movie. It ended up losing tons of friends and all this pain, and it was really, I needed an end to all of that. And it didn't stop with just half the cover or some of the cover. I took down every single thing in the backyard, with the exception of the spectator stands and the Nerf arena, or the sniper towers, because I feel like the reason why I'm doing this is I'm giving myself a blank canvas. Thunderdome indicates what's happening in Rob. It exists to serve me, and not the other way around, if that makes sense. And I can see where if I choose to do something else back there, I'll give you a little hint to kind of let you know where I'm going with this. There's LARPers in town, and they have their foam swords and their armor and all kinds of stuff where they just hit each other. And I was, my buddy Josh from Joplin was talking about that. I'm like, that'd be pretty cool. And then my mind was like, that would be pretty cool to invite them over, and then they could do their crazy sword thing, tournament in my backyard. And maybe I could film that. Maybe I could interview those people and see what's going on. Maybe I could tell their story. Because this story is like, the people in the movie aren't excited about it even more, you know? And the idea that, man, I'm tired of grinding this, you know? And so I gave myself a blank canvas. I'm not going to say I'm never going to do anything nerfy in the backyard again. There might be a Thunderdome 3.0 that's like simplified with just like movable, smaller stuff, but it's going to be because I decided to build it. Maybe when Jack comes down, we'll do that. But for the first time in a long time, I have control of my destiny again. And if all things were equal, I would want to be making YouTube videos about Nerf and telling our stories and traveling around the country, doing more of my live stream stuff, just documenting, showing this so new people can, like, helping Nerf and HVZ grow, because it's special and it's important and it's worth doing. But just like in my rant video, I watched that more times than I like to admit, because it was a year after and I didn't recognize that person anymore either, because I'm doing better, you know. Nerf, this is not about you. Nerf, HVZ is going to explode with or without you. And if for 1 second you're doing this for anything other than the experience of the player and making it better for them, get the fuck out. And I feel like my intentions and my goals have been very, very on the right path pretty much the entire time. You know exactly what I am. But that this is not about you, that really resonated with me. And I always wondered what would happen if Thunderdome didn't exist. And for a long time, it was not an option. And now I'm getting the fuck out of the way. We're at the end of a transition with Missouri State Nerf. Like, all the people, like the Ninja Squads and the Speed Squads, the people who I've kind of told the stories about, a lot of those are gone. You've got Darren left. Sammy's still there. He's old school. And then our president, Janine. Darren and Janine are getting their master, or they're moving on to do their master stuff, and they're leaving. Darren's going up to like Idaho or somewhere up there in that northwest quadrant. And I think it's the end of an era. And I think what I want to hand off in this next era is, man, MSU Nerf that doesn't have any of our old drama. Ninja Squad drama, Speed Squad drama, Thunderdome drama, Rob drama. And I'm not saying I'm never going to go back and film their stuff. I'm not saying I'm not going to go play on their campus every once in a while, but the end of that story is now. And that's okay. I keep telling myself that, like, throughout all of this, it's just like everything that I break down, everything that, like, every step I take towards giving myself more options. I'm thinking about, like, I've got my tenant leaving in May. Thinking about cleaning it all up, painting it, putting it on the market. And as long as I can get enough money out of it where it will get me out of these bills I'm underneath right now, if it will make my life better and de-stress me, get me a new car so I can actually drive in the summer, if it makes my life better, I'm going to do it. And I can choose whatever I want to be after that because of it, you know. I don't know what I'm going to become after this. I kind of talked about this in the last one. I have no idea where this is leading. And for the first time in a long time, man, it feels good. The path was just like, it was always heading somewhere dark for a long time. So, I don't know. I guess I'll try and wrap this up so I'm not just talking all damn night, but I really wanted to kind of flesh that out. Couple things. Do you like this format? Like, this is worth me doing. And even if I don't make any money off of this, like, if there's like 500 or 1,000 people that you want to keep hearing these little videos, like, they can even be less serious, you know, like Liam requested a real talk about how I think flywheel blasters have affected the Nerf community and stuff like that, like just the meta of it, you know. And I wouldn't mind talking about that, or talking about video games, or just talking about filmmaking in general. Like, if there's an audience for that, if you guys want that, this is something I could see myself continuing on to do it. And then maybe every once in a while something else when I really feel passionate about it. But so let me know if you want me to do that. Let me know what you want me to talk about, or just let me know that you're listening, you know, because it's I felt really alone for a long time, even though there's a lot of people around me, and there's a lot of people out in the world who just like are excited about this. I was talking to Thunderdome Josh, and he said, as an outsider coming in, he's just like, what's up with the people in town? Like, why is this not special? Because it's so special to him. Like, Josh found HVZ and Missouri State Nerf because of one of my videos with Drac, you know? He's like, holy crap, this is happening this close to my house. And he came up and played Nerf with us. And now he comes and stays at my house and we're bros. Like, he's blown away by the fact that people are not like wanting to come to this all the time. It's really almost like that I have to beg the Missouri State Nerfers to come, you know? A lot of the new people don't know about it, but the older people, I'll go next time, you know? Next thing is Thunderdome DVDs. Like, I've got them. Kind of didn't want to be like my own Amazon, you know, but like I want people to have access to them, because I feel like there's been a lot of people who've contributed a lot to this, and I want to get them out there. I'm thinking about starting an Etsy store like I talked about last time, and I don't really know Etsy, so like for me, like anything new is hard. It just takes a little bit of time where I have to just dedicate myself to diving in. But what I can do right now is, dude, like I know eBay like the back of my hand. Like I'll put like 20 DVDs on there right now. $20, it's 2-pack. You've got like 2 full copies of the movie. The idea was one for you, one to give to your friend, you know, but you can go in with your buddy and just kind of split it, you know what I mean? So I think I'll do $20 plus shipping for like one, you know, like I'll try and do a medium mail, so it's just maybe like $22 or something. And then, like maybe 2 of them you get free shipping or something like that. And so I'll make them available. If you want them, like, this is the time to buy them. So if I sell 20, then I'll put another 20 up there, and we'll do that until people get sick of it, you know? But I feel a responsibility to at least make these available for a certain amount of time. I hope the tour starts. Me and Drac can do what I love. Change people's lives by getting up on stage, being silly, doing exactly like what I'm doing right now, you know? I'll put a link in the description. And thanks for being here, and thanks for listening to this. Like, this format's really nice. It's like, it's kind of like how I'm sick of YouTube, but I'm not sick of stuff like this, kind of just like podcast type stuff, you know? So if you want me to keep doing this, like, just let me know, you know, just say I'm listening, you know, or we'll stick with the tradition. Type platypus if you made it this far in the video, and every time I see that, I'm just like, people get it, you know, like, so I'll wrap up. Thanks again. Dear all the Thunderdomes across the country and across the world, keep rocking. Like, do it as long as you love it. But even in me walking away from this, I've actually had some sense of closure in the fact that it shows you that you can walk away from it. That you do it as long as it's good for you and the people around you. And then you don't have to be owned by it. It exists for you. And I fingers crossed that's for a long time with you, because man, if this could happen forever, the person I was in the beginning, that's who I want to be forever, for the rest of my life. And that's why I'm just like, I can't go back to working that nothing job, you know, for the crumbs. I hope I can find something like that. I hope I can find a way of finding that satisfaction in other things in my life. Unfortunately, it's probably not Nerf YouTube videos, you know, and that's okay. Thunderdomes around the world. The first time I heard of Jack, when I realized that someone kind of heard what I was desperately trying to tell, and that they built their own thing. Like, man, I haven't had the energy to really participate in that. And it's really like, dude, if I had my way, like every single person who started Thunderdome, I would send them eyeglasses and everything that I possibly could to support that. But I just, like, it breaks my heart that I can't feed myself right now, you know? And it doesn't need me, though. So I hope that the people who've already started Thunderdomes, I think the idea is out there, you know? And I hope that you guys continue. And I hope that even just like all these videos I made, I hope that I've created a lot of stories to be found on my YouTube channel that I intended to exist past me, where 20, 30 years from now, someone can just be like, oh, what the hell? There was a Nerf Thunderdome thing? And maybe make something, you know? All right, let's stop talking. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, platypus. Talk soon. Bye.